Hello, welcome everybody. It's good to see quite a few people attending, and I'm sure this is the session that you've all been waiting for. This is this is the one where we'll talk about lots of different aspects of your program. So welcome to the session, and in this session we'll talk about various different aspects of the program and progressing through. So my name's Lucille Pearce. I'm the Head of Student and Programme Services at MLA College, and today we're going to go through quite a few things that I think you're all going to find useful around the structure of your programme, what you need to do to engage with the programme and pass your modules, how the modules are marked, how you get feedback, and when marks are confirmed and things like that, and also what resources you have available to you if you need information about progressing through your studies. So there's just a few housekeeping things that I want to make everyone aware of before we get started with the presentation. If you can ask questions with the Q&A function. General comments can be added in the chat as well if this is enabled for you. If you have any follow-up questions, you can contact us via email. And at the end of the slideshow, there's a slide with some email addresses for you to contact us. So if you've got any questions afterwards that you think of later, then please feel free to reach out. Live captions can be enabled for you if you need them by selecting More, Language and Speech, and Show Live Captions. And I understand that depending on individual teams' permissions, some of you may only have access to either chat or Q&A, but possibly not both. But as these sessions are being recorded, if you can refer back to them later, and we'll publish those on our website shortly. If any questions are quite specific to you that could potentially infringe GDPR, if I was to answer them directly, then I would encourage you to reach out directly, and then I can deal with those specific inquiries. Okay, so let's get started, quite literally getting started. So you're at the beginning of the road with with starting the program. So when you get started on the program, there are a few resources that you should ensure that you are familiar with. First of all is the student guide. This is a great guidebook. It really does tell you everything you need to know about studying with MLA. It's really easy to read. It's nice and glossy. It's easy to flick through the pages and to get up to speed on everything that you need to know. So it actually does go through in detail some of the things that I'm going to briefly cover in this webinar today. So first and foremost, I would advise everybody to please go to the student guide and read through it, as a lot of your questions will potentially be answered in there. This slide is clickable, so I've embedded some links. So if you click on your student guide, then it will open up in your browser. So if you want to do that now, that's fine. If not, then you can always do that later, because we will share these slides with you. The other ones that I wanted to bring to your attention with getting started are the MLA governance page. So this is where you're going to find things like terms and conditions, which you sort of contractually agree to when you complete your enrolment form. It's quite standard terms and conditions that any university or college would have, or academic regulations. So you agree to those when you start the program. But it is very important to familiarise yourself with these, because you are subject to them, and some of them could potentially affect your learning depending on what your situation is. So I would definitely advise that you go to the governance page, look at our T's and C's, have a look at our different policies as well. We've got a number of different policies on there with regards to teaching and learning, all very supportive and all very much with the student journey in mind. Also, we have the student regulations, policies and procedures with the University of Plymouth. So you are subject to most of these, as you are all technically a University of Plymouth partner student. So please ensure you go there as well and sort of navigate your way around the different documents on the University of Plymouth website. And essentially, getting started is it's sort of contained in the first 2 weeks of term. It's all about downloading your TLP, um, getting getting used to sort of navigating around the TLP and figuring out where everything is, logging into all your systems. So I'll get to it later, but Turnitin and the university DLE, which is the digital learning environment, and getting access to things like the University Online Library, which is called Primo, so that you can start downloading materials and resources and get going with your studies. So these are all very important things that you'll need to make sure that you can access right at the beginning. So as I mentioned just a minute ago, that you are a University of Plymouth student as well as an MLA College student, because MLA College is a validated partner of the University of Plymouth. So the programme that you're studying on is validated by the University of Plymouth. So that means that you do get some extra perks with that. So you get access to your own University of Plymouth email. You get access to their full online library, which is called Primo. You also, if you want to apply for a student ID card, then you can do that. And I think that there are a number of benefits to having a student card. So you can get various concessions, and you can get in free some places, and you can get some things at student rates as well. So if you do want one of those, then again, have a look at the student guide, because there is some information in the student guide on how to apply for your student ID card. So with Turnitin, Turnitin is that's one of the systems that everybody will need to ensure that they have logged into and have no issues with accessing. Turnitin is what we use for coursework submission. So it's very, very important that all of you have access to this. So in order to do that, you first of all need to make sure that you can get into your University of Plymouth account, because you will be set up using your University of Plymouth email. So you go into your email and there will be an email from Turnitin in there telling you to register. You click on the link and then you register for Turnitin, and then that's that. And then you should be able to access Turnitin, and when it comes to your submission deadlines, you will be able to then submit your coursework, which is extremely important. So all students must ensure that they can log into Turnitin. Not accessing Turnitin is not submitting your coursework because of that will likely result in you receiving a mark of 0 for coursework, and potential withdrawal or interruption from the programme. So I can't stress enough how important it is to make sure that you get logged into these systems. Marks on Turnitin are given by your tutor. So your tutor has access and they will mark your coursework in there. So you'll be able to then log in and see your grades. And the tutor also gives you feedback in Turnitin as well. So you can see what they've written, see what pointers they've given you. Any marks that are given in Turnitin are what we call provisional. So that means they're sort of they're provisional for the moment until they are formally confirmed by the University of Plymouth Award Assessment Board. So they go through a moderation process, and also we have external examiners that also moderate samples of our coursework. So there's a very robust quality and standards process there, so you know that you're in safe hands. And as I say, tutor feedback is written on all the assignments so that you can log in and you can see that feedback, and then for your next assessment you can bear that feedback in mind as well. So minimum engagement, even though this is this is distance learning, but we do require students to engage with the programme. And that means responding to tutor emails, making sure that you're logged into systems, submitting your coursework. There are lots of different touch points that we consider to be part of that engagement profile for each student. And engagement helps us to ensure that you're accessing everything right from the beginning. You're not having any issues, so you're not being disadvantaged in any way. Also that you know who to contact for academic or practical support. And if there's any problems, then if you're in touch with us and you're telling us what those issues are, then we can help you resolve them much easier. So the first 2 weeks of term are especially important for this engagement process, because this is when students will be confirming access to all of their learning materials, making contact with their tutor, and begin studying and planning your workload for your first couple of modules. So term starts on Monday officially. So the clock sort of for that starts ticking for that first 2 weeks of term on Monday. If any issues arise in that time, it's really, really important that you reach out to us and let us know, because it's much easier for us to help you if we know what those problems are early on. If you don't tell us, then things can kind of drag on, and if at the end of the day, if coursework isn't submitted, for example, it might be that you end up getting 0 for that coursework and potentially being having your studies suspended because of lack of engagement. So it's really important for everybody to keep in mind that getting up and running as soon as possible and getting all this stuff out the way early is really, really important, because it will affect your student journey going forward. So as I said, we've got induction week now, which is good because that kind of gives you a week to get orientated, and a lot of these systems you should hopefully be able to get logged into and familiar with before term even starts on Monday. And you know, the top tip there is that we release the modules in the induction week before term even starts. So most students have already secured access to their TLP. So that's their total learning platform, where your module content is contained, and also all the other systems that I've mentioned. Most students will make sure that they've ensured access to that during this induction week. And then by the time term starts on Monday, then you're all set and ready to go. But then, of course, you know, that students do sometimes have issues. So we do expect that, you know, things might come up that are unavoidable. So during the first week of term, if you're having issues, please tell us. We can't do anything if you don't tell us what the problem is. So please do get in touch if there's a barrier and you can't figure out how to log into something, then we're here to help. By the end of the first week, if you're still having problems, don't worry, we're still here. We're still here to help you. And if you contact us by the end of that first week, then you're going to be less behind. So really, that first week is, I'd say, is quite critical, because the longer you leave it, then the more kind of behind you're going to be with your studies. And then into the second week, then time really is kind of of the essence in the second week. But you might still be struggling and thinking, what do I do now? But don't worry, because again, we're still here. We're not going to let you slip through the net. As long as you tell us what's going on, then we'll help you out. And don't forget, you have until the end of that second week to respond to us or get in touch with us. Because by the end of the second week, if we can't reach you by then to resolve any issues, or you're sort of not contactable at all, we might pause your studies. But don't worry if we do, because we will stay in touch with you to help you come back when you're ready. And just remember, this is about supporting your success. So if we did pause your studies because of any issues around access, and you just couldn't get started this term, It's not a punishment. It is to kind of protect your experience, and you know, to protect the investment that you're making in your education. And we want everybody to have an equal experience. We don't want any students to be behind or to be disadvantaged. So the next 2 weeks are extremely important for everybody. So progressing through the programme, we do get a lot of questions about this at the beginning of term, and I wanted to sort of outline the structure of the programme a little bit, just so that you know what's coming down the line. So this first term, you're going to be doing 2 taught modules, so they're 30 credits each, so you'll be studying a total of 60 credits this term, which is the May term, so this is from now until the end of August, I believe. Then term 2 starts at the end of September. So for term 2, you'll be studying 3 taught modules, which are 20 credits each. So there's more modules, but there's less credits. So again, it's still a total of 60 credits, and that would be from September to the end of December. And then term 3, which would then kick off in January, you would be doing 1 module, which is 60 credits in total, and that is your MSc Research Project module. So your final term will be spent writing your thesis. Just remember as well, though, that there will be strict assessment deadlines throughout each term. So some modules have an assessment at week 6 and at the end of the term. Some modules just have 1 assessment at the end. So when you download your total learning platforms for each module, then please make sure that you read the assessment documents and make sure that you are fully aware of your deadlines. Also, again, logging into Turnitin, your assessments will all be on there with the deadlines on Turnitin, so that will help you keep on track so that you are aware of the deadlines that you have to meet throughout each term. You also must pay for your tuition fees for your next modules at the beginning of each stage. So when term 2 starts and your next 3 option modules begin, you'll need to pay for those 3 modules for term 2, and then again for term 3 you'll just be paying for the 1 module. So passing your modules, if only it was there was an easy answer to this. I mean, there's lots of ways to excel in your studies. At MLA, we really are advocates for the students in that we want students to get access to everything, to have access to everything they need to study, and to engage with their with their tutors and with each other. And we feel, and we know from experience that students who engage with their tutor and engage with the learning materials do tend to do exceptionally well. So the postgraduate mark, so because you're on a postgraduate program, the pass mark is 50%. So anything below 50 is a non-achievement. Anything above 50 or above is a pass. So you have to achieve at least 50% to pass a module. The overall module mark includes written coursework, and in some cases you may have to do a presentation. I believe that 719 and 720, which are your first 2 modules, I think both of those modules do have a presentation element at week 6 that you'll have to submit. So some is just coursework, but some it is a mixture of coursework and live presentation. Students should read the Programme Quality Handbook. So this is a clickable link here. This is on our website. So this is the programme document for the programme that you're studying. It's very important because it contains all of the module information, and it also contains things like the programme learning outcomes and module learning outcomes, and things like marking criteria and how the programme is structured, and how the programme is taught as well. So I would strongly advise, if you haven't already, then to have a look at the Programme Quality Handbook, because this will give you a very, very in-depth idea of what you'll be studying and what the actual learning outcomes are, what you need to achieve to pass the modules and eventually the programme. So the mantra, I think, for everybody is access, study, engage. That's really what's going to go in your favour, I think, for doing well on the programme. You must read the assessments in the Total Learning platform for each module. In your TLP, you'll also have access to study guides and marking criteria. So all the information you need is there. It's easy to access once you've downloaded everything. And attend your tutorials, ask questions, get involved, become part of even though you're distance learners, you're still part of a distance learning community. You can still reach out to us. You can reach out to each other. You can reach out to your tutors, and we're here all the time to help you. So sometimes things happen, and if you know circumstances beyond your control, you might feel at some point that you need to take a pause in studies. We do see this a lot in distance learning because usually students studying with distance learning tend to be doing so because they have busy lives and they don't have the ability to up sticks and move to a different town and attend a university. So they opt for distance learning because it fits in with their busy schedules. But quite often that means that things like work pressures, family pressures, and other personal issues can sometimes cause issues that might mean that they have to pause their studies and then possibly come back at a later date. So there are some different procedures in place around that. At the beginning of the programme, students can defer completely and start from scratch within this first 2 weeks of term. So going back to this kind of the first 2 weeks of term that I was talking about previously, about making sure that you're up and running. If you get to the end of that 2 weeks and we haven't heard from you and you're having issues and we're not confident that you've really got started, it might be that either you voluntarily pause your studies or we pause your studies for you so that you can come back and start again from scratch with no academic or financial penalty at the start of the next upcoming term. So maybe May might not quite work for you. If you've got some issues, you're too busy, then you might want to sort of start again in September if you feel like it's more appropriate. After modules have been completed and passed, so once you've kind of completed those first modules, and if you have actually passed them, then you're technically studying on the program. Then you are fully sort of engaged in the program. If you did want to interrupt the program, you can of course do that. That's absolutely fine. You would be able to resume the programme. You would have to wait though until the next academic year before resuming, and then you would sort of pick up where you'd left off essentially. You can do exactly the same if you complete the first couple of modules but don't achieve a pass. You can still interrupt and then come back again the next year. And what you would do, instead of picking up where you left off and pick up your next modules, you would simply start off with the modules that you failed to achieve, and you would repeat those modules. So there is quite a lot of flexibility. If you defer or interrupt, so for students claiming student finance, so if you are claiming a student loan, you must remember that your student loan will be paused. So funding is not released to students who aren't actively studying. So we are obliged to inform the student loans company. So it's worth bearing that in mind as well. If you're compulsorily interrupted by us due to non-engagement or potentially non-payment of fees, you'll need to complete a full term before your funding is resumed. So if you haven't engaged at all, or if there is some kind of issue with finances, we will expect you to complete a full term in full before we then reactivate your student loan again. So there are supportive mechanisms in place for all students to help students that are struggling. We're here to advise you, and we do foster a supportive culture. There is so much flexibility and support there, but it is also important to remember that we are beholden, and as are you, to academic regulations. So I mentioned earlier about award assessment board when I said that marks are provisional on Turnitin until they are essentially confirmed or ratified, as we call it, at award assessment board. So this is an official process that we go through with the University of Plymouth. Award assessment boards, they take place MLA 3 times a year, so in November, March and July. Starting cohorts, so you are considered as a starting cohort, so you are the May 26 cohort. If you start together, then you all go to award board together, and interrupted students go to the same award board as the rest of the cohort, which is why you would, if you did interrupt, you'd have to wait until the following academic year before returning. So just to give you an example, I know this is quite complicated, but again, if you're not sure of anything, please do reach out to me. So just as an example, say you start the programme in May 26, which is now, you interrupt after completing the first term. So come August, you decide to interrupt. You would go to award board for whatever you've done so far in the next award board, which takes place in March 27. After that, you would then be able to resume again in May 27. So students that have not interrupted, but if you've just carry on, which you can of course do, but if you haven't successfully achieved your previous modules, that's absolutely fine. What would happen is you would then be able to take referral assessments. You'd usually do them alongside your project module. And again, marks are provisional until they are ratified, as we say, at award board. We do have an academic appeals process as well. So if there's anything that you do want to appeal against or make a complaint about, we're very, very transparent about students that do want to appeal or make a complaint. You can make a complaint anytime, but appeals in particular, academic appeals, can only be submitted after the award board is sat. And MLA College operates under very strict assessment, marking and moderation policies around this as well. So the diagram on this slide kind of gives you a little bit of an idea about when your marks would go to award board. So you do your taught modules first, then they get confirmed, then you do your research project. You will of course know your marks though before it goes to award board, because you'll see them on Turnitin. And finally, there's graduation. So when you get to the end of the program and you get your MSc, graduation is a fantastic way for students to celebrate after successful completion of their program. Or if you exit the program with maybe a PG Cert or a PG Dip, you can also attend graduation as well. These are held in Plymouth. They're run by the University of Plymouth as well, and they are fantastic events. We do get, despite being distance learning and our students being spread all over the place, we do get a really good attendance for these. And not only do you have the Plymouth ceremony, but we always put on a bit of an event for our students as well, and we like to make a big fuss of everybody. So once you get to the end of the programme, we really do look forward to seeing you at one of these graduation events to celebrate your achievement. Okay, so there's some good to know stuff on this final slide. So there's some useful contacts there. We've got the student admin, which is all things to do with programme administration. There's student finance. I believe some of you might have attended my colleague Dinah's webinar yesterday. So they'll be able to answer queries about student loans and funding and fees. And then the student experience. So I think Abby gave a really good webinar just a few hours ago, which some of you might have also attended as well. So there's their email there if you need to reach out to them. And then I've put some useful documents on there as well, just to sort of sum up the things that I've been through in this presentation. So the student guide, that's right there at the top, because it's a good one. The terms and conditions, complaints procedure, refund and compensation policy, all of our governance documents, and the University of Plymouth regulations. These are the sorts of things that even if you don't have to read everything, because there's lots of them, obviously, but it's always good to familiarize yourself with where these things are, and just to know that they're there, and that if you need to refer to them, you know how to find this information. Okay, that's the end of my session. And I would like to see if anybody's got any questions. So I'm going to have a look in the chat and see. I can't see any questions at the moment, but I expect some might pop up. Okay. Thank you for the presentation. No problem at all. How can we get a student ID card? Yep. So if you go to the student guide, then there is a section in the student guide on how to apply for your student ID card. It's all there on the University of Plymouth section of our student guide. You will need to access the your University of Plymouth. Sorry, get my words muddled. You'll need to access your University of Plymouth computing account. So first things first, you'll need to log into that. And then if you have a look at the guide, there are instructions on how to get your card. Your cards actually get delivered to us, and then we post them out to you. So as soon as we got it, we'll send it out to you. See if there are any other questions. Thanks for the presentation. No problem. No problem, Andrew. Florence, no problem. Thakib, do we need a student ID card if distance learning? Well, I mean, it's nice to have one. So if you, as I said, I think with if you're a student, you get concessions. So I think you can maybe get cheap entry into museums. I think lots of restaurants and places do student deals. So if you've got a student card, then you'll be able to get like a sort of student rates on various different things. I know that lots and lots of different things will give discounts for students. So I think having a student card, if you want to take advantage of that, is probably quite a useful thing to have. In regards to the work presentation, saying it is live, it means it will be a PowerPoint presentation or via Teams Zoom. Yep. So you'll do you'll put together a sort of PowerPoint slides, and then you will give your presentation live to your tutor, who will then mark you for that. And I think you do that on your first two modules on MLA 719 and 720. If you've already got your TLP by now, make sure you download it and have a look at the assessment document, and it's all written in the assessment document exactly what you need to do for your assessments. Official end date for the course, Simon Alexandru. Yes, well, so it's a year, it's a whole year. That's providing you don't take any, you don't interrupt anywhere. You just keep going, you submit your coursework, and you everything goes well, and then you get to the end. You should complete at the end of April or beginning of May next year. So it's a full 12 months. Presentations, doing it individually? Yes. Yep. Nazia, yep. Presentations will be done individually. Mohammed, thanks for a nice presentation. No problem, Mohammed. Philo Fatia, thank you. No problem. Simon, because Simon Alexandra, because I'd like to apply for an Oyster card, and they usually ask for end date of the course. Yep. Okay, no problem. Yeah, end of the course will be end of April, I believe. I don't know the exact date. If you drop student.admin at mla.ac.uk an email when it comes to applying for your Oyster card, we can give you the exact date, and you can use that. But a good shout, because I remember when I was a student in London, I got a student rate on Oyster card, and it really saved me an awful lot of money. So that's a good idea. Daniela, will this course be qualified for discount on council tax? Yes, I believe so. We do issue council tax letters. I don't think we issue them straight away in the first few weeks of term. I think we normally wait a few weeks and then they get issued at a certain time. But yes, we do issue letters that you can send to your local council to get a council tax reduction. So that's fine. Nazia, have the modules been put on the website already? So if you've enrolled for the program and you're already enrolled, then we will have sent you an email. When do lectures take place? So Thaqib, so lectures don't actually, we don't actually have lectures. So all of your learning materials are contained within the TLP. So there's a bit of a difference between online learning and distance learning. Sometimes the two things can be sort of, there is crossover between them, but usually with things like online learning, you'll kind of all attend online group sessions at specific times and you'll have a timetable, whereas all of our learning and everything that you need to absorb in need to work your way through the videos, which you do in your own time. This is the beauty of it. You can download the module content and work through it at your own pace, and you don't have to attend anything at specific times. So that's one of the joys of the way that we deliver our programs. So no actual lectures, just lots and lots of learning materials for you to sit and watch and absorb. Simon, thank you very much. No problem, Simon. Florence, do the university give letters of council tax? Yes, yep. I think I answered. I think Daniela asked that. So yep, we will do that. So just drop us an email and ask us for that, and we'll send you a letter for council tax exemption. Nazia, yes, you've enrolled. I have. I can't download the modules. Okay. Nazia, we have got a technical session. I don't know when the next one is. We've run a couple already, but if you are having issues, then please, you can give us a ring actually, but you can ring us. There's a number on screen there, or if you email technical@mla.ac.uk, then let them know the problems you're having. They'll be able to help you. It's worth bearing in mind actually that we are doing support sessions, drop-in support sessions next week and the following week. So I'm going to send out a link at the end of this week, and you can actually just book in for a half-hour session with the technical team, one-to-one. And they'll have you on screen. You can chat to them, you can share your screen as well and show them what issues you're having, and they will walk you through step by step what you need to do. So Nazia, don't worry, whatever issues you're having, then yes, we'll help you with that. Daniela, technical, yes, Daniela, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly right. The email is that's right, technical@mla.ac.uk. Yes, perfect. Nadia, yeah, no problem, Nadia. Please do let us know if you're having any more problems. Kindly share the email to apply. So yep, the email for council tax letter is student.admin@mla.ac.uk. Just make sure. Right, there you go. There's the email. So send an email to that email address, and we'll pick that up for you. As I say, with the council tax letters, we normally wait a little while before we issue those, but we can absolutely do that for you sort of within the next couple of weeks. Ladko, thank you for the presentation. No problem, Ladko. It's been my pleasure. Okay, I'm going to just pop to the Q&A because I think, yeah, so we don't have a timetable. No, as I said, no timetable because you're all mature learners, and we fully expect you to be able to manage your time and work through all of the learning materials. You know, you're all in control of your own destinies, and your learning materials are there for you to absorb when you are able to fit them in. Again, this is one of the joys of our delivery model, is it really allows that flexibility for people to absorb that learning in ways that work for them. Some universities provide Microsoft access. Yes. Hafiz, yes. The University of Plymouth, through them, so through your University of Plymouth computing account, you will also get Microsoft 365 for free while you're studying. So again, another very, very good reason why you really do need to make sure that when you get your University of Plymouth accounting computing account details, please make sure that you can log into that so that you can get access to Microsoft 365 and all of the other benefits of having that computing account. Hedviga, how many assessments are there in each module for postgrad? So I know for 719 and 720, it's your first two modules, you've got 2 assessments in each. So presentation at week 6 and then a coursework submission at the end of week 13. I don't know off the top of my head what it is for the other modules, but if you go back to the slide where there's a link to the Programme Quality Handbook, you can have a look at all the modules. So at the end of the document, there's a big long list of all the different modules, and it'll tell you exactly what assessments you have to do for those. So please make sure you have a look at that if you haven't had access to that already. Okay, Elena, what can I do if I haven't received the USB iPad? Yep. Okay, so I have actually, if I look to my right, on my table there are a bunch of USBs ready to go. My colleague is going to post them out tomorrow, so please don't worry, we will get that out to you. And they'll be winging its way to you over the next 24 hours. We are going to send them first class, so they should get to you the next day. So was it Wednesday tomorrow? So you should have it, but around sort of at some point on Thursday. Danielle, hi, we're going to have tutor through the entire year. So it might not be the same tutor. You'll have tutors. We usually try and give the same tutor for the first 2 modules for that first term, but when you go into your optional modules, you might end up with different tutors. But that's perfectly normal for especially for postgraduate, where the subject matter is different, so you'll be taught by different academics. But you'll have the same tutors for a term as you go through. Simona, thank you. No problem, Simona. No problem at all. Right, let's go back to the chat. I think there's a couple. How can someone pay for the USB, Florence? Yeah, if you want the USB, you can. I don't know what we've got a payment link, but I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head. So that student.admin email there, if you drop them an email and let them know that you would like to receive a USB, then we'll get one sent out to you. What's the difference between mandatory and optional modules? Okay, so the first 2 modules are compulsory, so you have to do 719 and 720. Then when you do option modules, so you have to take 3 modules, so that is mandatory, but you can choose which ones you take. So I think we've got about 6 option modules, and you choose 3 out of those. So if you have a look in the Programme Quality Handbook, you can see what the subjects are for each module, and then you can choose your options based on that. So you'll probably want to choose something that is something that you're interested in, and that you're interested in learning. So that's the difference, is that option modules are, even though you do have to do them, you can sort of choose which ones you do. Okay, let's go back to Q&A because I think there's another one in there. Okay. What's on the USB? So the USB is the total learning platform. So lots of people will tend to go for the download, and they will go on their laptop and download the modules. However, some people might prefer to receive the modules on a USB stick, a physical USB stick. Sometimes that's an option for people if they really are having like major technical problems that we're having issues resolving. We might just post a USB to them. It just makes life easier because you can, if you're having technical problems with the download, then you can just plug the USB in, and you've got your modules then. So on the USB, it would be the modules essentially. But that is if you're having problems downloading them. Okay. All of them. No, so you'll get them in stages. So for the first term, you'll get the first 2 modules, and then next term, when you start your option modules, then we'll send you the download links for the next 3 modules. So it's on a termly basis. So we don't dump everything on you all at once, because that might be potentially quite scary. Because if you've got all of this module learning content, then you'd probably be thinking, oh gosh, where do I start? So yeah, we do it a bit at a time. First 2 modules first, and yeah. Mohammed, have issue downloading, best to have USB. Of course, if you've got an issue with the download, you've got a couple of options. You can either get in touch with the technical team to see if you want to try and resolve it, or if you drop a message to student.admin@mla.ac.uk, that email in the chat there, just say that you would prefer to have a USB, and we can get that sorted for you, and we'll send that out in the post to you this week. No problem, Mohammed. No problem at all. Okay, I think after a really good flurry of questions there, and all fantastic questions from everyone, very good questions. Daniela, bear in mind price is roughly £50 for each USB. If I understand correctly, will be 3 of them. I think that's right. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that. Yeah, well, let me double check that, because I think if you're really struggling with the download, then yes, Mohammed, yeah, of course, I will check that. In fact, I will write a note for myself to do that, and I'll check tomorrow. Yeah, okay, no problem at all. I'll check that, and I will send I'll send out some communication to all new students to let you know what the cost is for USB. So yeah, don't worry about that. I'll let you know shortly. Okay. Well, some great questions from everybody. I will give it a few seconds to see if anybody else wants to ask anything. Simon, thank you. No problem, Simon. Gosh, it's busy going back and forth from Q&A to chat. But I'm really pleased that you've asked such good questions. These are the sorts of things that a lot of students do ask in the first few weeks of term, and can get quite confusing for students. And it's really good that we can answer some of those questions now before term even starts, so that come Monday you've got all the answers that you need, and you've got everything you need to get up and running. Okay. Another one. Okay, so based on what attendance does get, sorry, Sakib, I'm not, right, if there's no lectures. Yep, that's actually a very intelligent question. So, yeah, do you know, it is difficult to I suppose monitor attendance in a traditional sense for distance learning, and of course we don't monitor attendance in a traditional sense because it's not possible, because you're distance learners, you're not attending lectures. So we do have a few other sort of milestones that students kind of need to meet, and those are downloading the TLP, absolute essential. When your tutor contacts you, they will ask you if you've downloaded it, and they'll probably ask to if you can just sort of share your screen or share a screenshot with them to show that you have got access to your learning materials. Accessing systems, so logging into Turnitin. We can see when students have logged into Turnitin, by the way. So if we can see that a student has never logged into it, then that's a bit of a red flag that they're not engaging or accessing. And not responding to emails. So your tutor will contact you in the first week of term, but if there is absolute radio silence and you don't respond, you don't book a tutorial, you don't engage with that process, again, that's a big red flag for engagement and sort of attendance monitoring, if you like. The big one is coursework submissions. So when it gets to the end of the first term and there is absolutely no submission of coursework at all from a student, then that's a very, very big red flag, because submitting coursework and actually doing the work is a very, very big part of engaging with the programme. So if students don't do that, then there is a risk there that we may sort of intervene. So attendance gets monitored in very, very different ways to what it would do if you were attending actual lectures. Daniela, high volume of information. Yes, yes, it is a high volume of information. I realise it's probably, it might not all stick in your mind. So, please don't worry about coming to us and asking the same question repeatedly, because that's absolutely fine. Your results on assessments will show your attendance and implications. Yes, yep, Daniela, yeah, absolutely. Not necessarily your results. I mean, if you submit your assessments but you don't achieve the pass mark, you won't be penalised in an engagement sense for that, because you're submitting the work and you're trying, you're doing your best, and we'll try and support you. It's if there is no submission whatsoever, and no contact with any of the team or your tutor, then that is deemed as non-engagement. When do we receive Turnitin logins? So you'll have to log into your University of Plymouth computing account and go to your University of Plymouth email. And when you go there, that's where your email to register and log into Turnitin will be. So you need to do that. Please make sure you do that. Mohammed, you've shared a screenshot there. Can't preview this file. Okay. I'm not a technical person, but one of our members of our technical team will be able to help you. So let me put the email in again. Okay. There you go. That screenshot that you just sent, Mohammed, could you please send that to that email? And one of my colleagues, Luke or Holly, they will pick that up, and they'll give you a hand. They come across all sorts of technical issues, so I think they've seen it all. They should be able to help you. Okay, Mohammed, you appear to have sent your email address. So, Yeah, so you need to email the technical team. So that email that I just posted, if you email them with that screenshot that you've just posted in the chat, and they will help you. Okay. Okay. Okay, everyone. I think we've covered a lot. I think we hopefully you've learned a lot from today's session. I haven't been sent an email regards to Turnitin. Saqib, is that have you accessed your University of Plymouth email? So your email regarding Turnitin won't go to your personal email. It will go to your University of Plymouth inbox. So you need to log into your University of Plymouth inbox. If you've done that and you don't have anything from Turnitin, don't worry. Actually, another thing on Turnitin, if you don't have anything in your inbox right now, don't worry, you will get something. So it might be that the team haven't added you to the class yet. So as soon as they add you, you'll get the email. If you don't have it now, you will get it within, I think, within the next week. So just make sure you check your emails. Also, if you feel like you're probably not going to get the chance to check your University of Plymouth emails very often, if you put a forward on those emails to your personal email, then at least you won't miss anything then. But yeah, don't worry if the Turnitin registration email isn't there yet, because it will be coming very, very shortly. They might not have got around to doing everybody yet. It does take quite a long time. There's quite a few students, so the team does tend to sort of work through them bit by bit. Okay, that's one in the Q&A. So far, only was told to download the TLP. Okay, well, yep, you can download it. You can. It's better to download it. To be honest, it is a better option. Most students do download it. We don't really have that many students that opt for the USB, because most students just go to the email, the notification that they get to say your TLP is ready. They click on the link, they follow the instructions, they download it, it's there, that's it, it's done. And it's much, much easier. And that is normally the main option. The USB is also another option, but it's not as popular. Perfect, yeah, no problem to keep. Okay, right, I'm going to wrap things up now, because that's been an hour, and I'm sure you're all absolutely, you've been bombarded by all this all this information, and probably would quite like to go and have a lie down. So hopefully it hasn't been too much of an information overload for you. But I really, really appreciate all your excellent questions, and I hope I've been able to answer some of them. And we'll be putting this recording up on our website shortly. We'll also make the slides available, so and they are clickable, so some of the links there will be available for you to access all those fantastic resources that I've been telling you about. Yeah, everyone's saying thank you, and thank you to you all for attending as well. Thank you very much, and yeah, good luck with your studies, everybody. We do have a few more sessions throughout the week. Don't miss the program manager session tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, Mary Hale, who is the program manager for your course, she's going to be doing a much more in-depth webinar, going into detail about the program. So it'd be really, really good, I think, for all of you to attend that, and then you can ask the program manager directly any questions that you've got. All right, well, thank you, everybody, and good luck with your studies, and we'll look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye.